Welcome to Passive Cash Flow, a channel dedicated to guiding you towards financial independence through sustainable passive income streams. I find myself facing a bit of a challenge. Regrettably, I belong to the group of individuals who experience significant scattered thoughts and distractions when my living space lacks organization and remains cluttered. This might not be an exclusive issue, leading me to believe that what I'm about to discuss today could potentially assist those encountering similar challenges. I believe achieving a harmonious blend of practical actions and a thoughtful mindset can make the most significant impact. Hence, that's what I'll be delving into in today's video. However, if you're new to my channel, I appreciate your visit. Here, we delve into topics such as minimalism, motivation, entrepreneurship, and investment. So, if this aligns with your interests and you find the content appealing, do give it a thumbs up and kindly consider subscribing to my channel. Let's get started with the Ohio method. No, it's not related to the state of Ohio, nor is it a Japanese greeting. The Ohio method stands for only handle it once. This principle applies to decluttering, organizing, and completing tasks. When it comes to decluttering or organizing, I make it a point to put items in their permanent location immediately, rather than setting them down temporarily. For instance, when I pick up an item, I ensure it goes to its designated spot right away. This prevents me from spending more time than necessary straightening up later. A perfect example is when I walk in the front door with my backpack. Instead of tossing it onto the nearest surface, I know I'll have to pick it back up later to put it away properly. That annoyance alone motivates me to stow it in its correct space immediately. Similarly, when tackling tasks, I follow the Ohio method. For instance, with emails, I open a new tab and take care of all the ones I need to respond to even if I don't have a reply ready at that moment. It might mean spending a bit more time initially, but it's always better than having to revisit it later. Sometimes we veer away from the only handle it once rule, especially when urgency comes into play. Personally, I've discovered that excessive planning and over-preparation don't always serve me well. Instead, I embrace what I call the 5-second rule. If I decide to do something, I aim to start it within 5 seconds. For instance, if I realize the laundry needs attention or the dishes are piling up, I dive into action immediately. Why? Because this approach curbs procrastination and prevents me from spending too much time contemplating when or how to tackle a task. By the time I've begun, I often find that the task is completed before I even fully register it. Of course, there are exceptions. Some situations demand careful consideration. But for routine tasks or habits, I want to solidify. The 5-second rule works wonders. It instills confidence in my decisions and helps combat that pesky overthinking habit. Let's continue with the method create a burner email. I often create a burner email for handling junk. One of my favorite topics to discuss is digital organization, and I believe many people could benefit from it. Personally, I've found it incredibly useful to create a dedicated email address, specifically for non-important purposes. Often, when signing up for free trials or downloading apps, I'm required to provide an email address. However, I end up receiving emails from those services indefinitely unless I unsubscribe. A few years ago, I created a burner email address solely for these non-essential messages. It's a simple approach, but it keeps my main email inbox reserved for important and relevant content. When something does appear in my main email address, I know it's there because I intentionally provided that address. Avoid obligations. So I highly recommend giving this a shot. Avoid entangling yourself in obligations that aren't truly essential. Around the time I initiated my video making journey, I found myself ensnared in commitments to tasks I genuinely wished to avoid. Concurrently, I delved into the pages of essentialism, honing the art of declining non-essential obligations. Avoid obligations. I understand precisely what's crossing your mind. Oh, the individual sporting this sweater is hesitant to cause discomfort. Well, to that I'd express a few sentiments like, I apologize if my actions were offensive, and is there anything I can do to remedy this? I acknowledge the issue. My intention in sharing this is that as soon as I started refusing unnecessary obligations and endeavors I didn't want to partake in, I discovered a surplus of time and a marked reduction in stress within my schedule. While each point on this list revolves around strategies to keep specific areas clutter-free, this, quite literally, maintained order in my life. I recall coming across a statement that resonated with me. If you don't make decisions for yourself, others will decide for you. In my personal experience, this holds true. In essence, I believe it's imperative to regard our time as invaluable and to exercise frugality in allocating it just as we would with our money. Embrace satisfaction rather than constantly chasing the next endeavor. This is still an ongoing struggle for me, albeit much less frequent. For a significant period, I found myself trapped in the cycle of thinking. Once I acquire this, I can finally achieve that, creating a perpetual loop. It prevented me from ever being content with my current possessions and hindered me from pursuing goals until I believed I had all the necessary elements. Upon discovering gratitude for what I already had, a newfound contentment emerged, unlike anything I had experienced before. Since embracing and deriving joy from my existing belongings, there have been numerous instances where I gaze at everyday items, some notably old, and genuinely experience the same delight as when I first acquired them. The constant pursuit of the next thing was largely fueled by boredom and comparison. The release of a new model consistently emphasized features the older one lacked, creating an artificial sense of urgency to rectify something I managed fine without for an extended period. Unfortunately, these are consumer tactics that manipulate us into feeling our possessions are outdated and urgently need replacement. Choosing contentment with what I possess has ultimately fueled a more creative output than consumption, and naturally resulted in substantial savings. Anyway, these are a few of the most effective methods I've employed to maintain a decluttered life. In essence, I strive to lead a more intentional life, emphasizing reduced consumption and a less hectic lifestyle. As always, I value the time you've spent here and appreciate your viewership. If you found value in this video and resonate with this content, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I look forward to connecting with you in the next video. Thank you very much.